Hi, Athens. Welcome to Kaleidoscope. You may remember from our last show, which was a little while ago, that Jane Penwell, my co-host, is on vacation, was on vacation, appears not to have returned yet. And unfortunately, I have suddenly gotten old since then. I was not able to tape on Memorial Day, but good friend, good videographer, Jim Chaney, stepped into the breach and videotaped the Ridges memorial service. And so we have his footage from the Ridges plus last year's parade and memorial service on West Union. So sorry about my energy giving out. Maybe it will return someday. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope to make it to September the 15th when I have my official retirement from Kaleidoscope. And incidentally, I've been depressed because David Letterman got to retire before I did. Okay, let's go to Memorial Day 2014 and then 2015. Till next time, this is Nan Michael signing off.
All right, rest. Okay, guys, we're gonna make concert arcs under this tree here. It's kind of facing this way. So just kind of go out and kind of make that over here, and then they're gonna get some water for you while we're doing this.
Carrying everybody.
It's the
48?
40 and 8. In World War I, they used the boxcars to move the people, and they could move 40 men and 8 horses on it.
Memorial Day.
But that's where Germany, where it was really originally. And they're big over there like they are in the United States, you know. They come over here for a lot of things.
Kaleidoscope in a chair.
Just different legions
Sit over here.
has them in.
You're out of the sun. Hey, Bear. I literally have no idea. No, I bet.
55, 30 to 35, and then the bass drum. That one was about 10, 20, and then probably maybe 30. The biggest one. This is the heaviest instrument in the band.
Wow.
And 1, 2, roll up and.
And now Commander Smith will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless this Memorial Day service where we are gathered to pay tribute to our departed comrades. Grant that we may ever be mindful of their service to God and country. Make sacred their graves, give courage and comfort to those having suffered the loss of a loved one. May the souls of all departed veterans rest in peace. Amen.
The mayor of the city of Athens will give us the proclamation, and Steve Murray will accept the proclamation. Vietnam Veterans of America.
Thank you. Whereas, for more than 2 centuries, Americans have been called to defend the founding ideals of our democracy. On Memorial Day, a grateful nation remembers the proud patriots who have served in its defense of liberty and justice. And whereas, throughout our nation's history, members of the armed forces have taken great risks to keep America strong and free. They have defended the innocent, freed the oppressed, helped spread the promise of liberty to all corners of the earth. And whereas our grateful nation honors the selfless service of our armed forces, we acknowledge our debt that is beyond our power to repay. And whereas today, all who wear the uniform of the United States are serving at this crucial hour in history. Each has answered the call, a great call, to serve our nation in the front lines of freedom. And whereas on this Memorial Day, we gather to remember those heroes who have served our country for our very freedom that our flag represents. Now, therefore, I, Paul Weil, Mayor of the City of Athens, Ohio, do hereby proclaim Monday, May 26, 2014, as Memorial Day, and ask all citizens to pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom. Thank you.
Welcome, veterans.
Sure.
Mayor, thanks for being here today. A wonderful proclamation. Great acceptance, Jim, from the Athens area Vietnam veterans. Peace be with you all. Welcome other dignitaries that have come down to be with us today, and the families of these wonderful veterans here and away today, and those that paid the ultimate price with their lives. I read today that the Air Force General Richard Myers, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told the class at graduation of the United States Navy Academy, "You will go into harm's way." The sacrifice, which you've learned by now, is part of the job description. We revere and salute them all. Also, thank you to all the local military and service clubs that have given us a physical place to come back to rest, to meet, to communicate, to continue our lives socially, and to do service back to our community, especially our auxiliaries and the children of the veterans that give so much. Thank you for these gifts. And our honor guards. What a great day. What a great parade. Thank you, organizers, the honor guards, the local bands for coming out today. Band. And we really appreciate the entertainment and the warm feeling that you give us when you play. So why are we here today? Why did you get up on this self-deserved day off? Why did you nudge and pick up someone? Was it just to meet friends? Was it just to have a little breakfast at the different clubs? Was it hear me speak? I don't think so. If you paid admission, I'd say you ought to get your money back. Well, I love this day, and I love its meaning. Today is Memorial Day. We are here today, and other people are at other areas to honor our fallen comrades. Now here's a little culture. Our Congress did something right. They passed the national holiday Act of 1971. So we can all enjoy a 3-day weekend off with our family and reflect on those men and women who perished while protecting and representing all of us. In 1951, a poem was written, and Mrs. Mowena Michael, who was a teacher, she picked up on In Flanders Fields. And a piece of that is, we cherish too the poppies red that grow on the fields where valor led. It seems to signal to the skies that blood of the heroes never dies. She began wearing the red poppy so popular today, and this tradition spread throughout the world with women raising funds for people in need. Athens County still practices this tradition. You saw everyone all month long grabbing these poppies, buying them, collecting money, trying to help our veterans, trying to help those in need, our wounded warriors. So I thank you all volunteers, the American Legion, the VFWs, the AMVETs, the Athens Area Vietnam Veterans, Chapter 100. These organizations have been helping Athens County for years, and I thank you for coming out to appreciate them and be with us today. So today, as I finish, go visit and thank all the clubs for having activities. Believe it or not, there's still some cities out there that do not celebrate this day. They do not have the parades, they do not get up, they do not say thank you. So these dirty dogs, they get up and just play. And that's okay too, to play with your family and relish the reason why we're here. Many other people on this day also recognize other people in their family that have passed and may not have been part of the war situation. That's all right too. Hopefully many of you today at 3 o'clock, you might pause, because there's going to be a national moment of remembrance wherever you are at that moment, 3 o'clock. I hope somebody nudges me. I even put in my phone an alarm to remind me at 3 o'clock to pause. That was so nice of us today, Commander, to give us a moment. This will bring back the many memories and remind us again today is Memorial Day. Thank you again all the organizations and participants. Thank you, Honor Guard, the bands for being so visible and audio today. God bless America. Be safe and have fun today. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. Great job.
How much time do I have left? I had it memorized.
Commander of the Honor Guard, bring your men to attention, please. Cover. I'd like to introduce again the Athens High School Band will play the prelude. Postlude, excuse me. Afterwards, I want everybody to know we're glad that everybody came, and all the posts in town, the American Legion Post, the VFW, and the AMPS, I'm sure are all having free lunches this afternoon. So you're invited to participate. Glad to see you there. Jim?
I'm covered. Be gracious unto us, O God, and bless us. As we depart from this place, stretch forth your protection and guard our country, that we, being devoted to your service, may ever be defended by your power. Amen.
That concludes our ceremony for today, so thank you all once again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
I wasn't babying it at all because I was like, we didn't think she worried about it. You know, it probably just
But we can pretend that there's a Veterans Honor Guard and
They're going to be looking now.
21 gun salute and all of those things, and maybe they will arrive in time for some of it. They're good folks, so I get some sort of mix up.
no, I mean these. Oh, I didn't know.
Okay.
How long like
As a member of the Athens chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI, and a member of the Ridge and Cemeteries Committee, I want to welcome you, those who are attending, and thank the participants, the 317 Board's CEO, Earl Cecil, State Representative Debbie Phillips, a Veterans Honor Guard from Athens and Albany, led by Joe Mulligan, and they're here in spirit. Singer Sherelle Rocho, who has a cold, but she promises me she'll be super, and she is. And trumpeter Caroline Kay. We also have present our good mayor, who's ratting out on us and not continuing as mayor. He's been one of the best mayors, well, the best one. I've been here for since 1972, and he's super. I don't know where he's hiding right now. There he is. So he's here. Please rise for the presentation of the flag and the singing of the national anthem by Sherelle. Imagine the flag has just been presented.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
I didn't know my fan club was coming. Tom gave me more paper to read. Hopefully, if I talk long enough, the honor guard will be here. Good afternoon, and thanks for coming. As Tom indicated, my name's Earl Cecil, and I'm the Executive Director of the Athens Hockey Event, Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board, or 317 Board for short. We oversee the allocation of state and local funds to help people afflicted with mental illness and addictions in this three-county area. Today is the federal holiday that we now call Memorial Day, to remember and honor those people who have died while serving in our country's armed forces. But I remember as a child we called it Decoration Day. And I can remember helping my grandmother plant flowers on the grave of my ancestors, who shall remain only a name on a tombstone for me, but they were very personal to her. And it was a day that we remembered and honored all those who came before us. And we're also here today in this location, in these cemeteries at the old mental health hospital, to address the cruel and unfair stigma surrounding the topic of mental illness. Though 1 in 5 Americans will experience a mental illness at some time in their lives, and though most disorders are now quite treatable, many afflicted people and their families are afraid to publicly acknowledge their affliction for fear of being seen as deranged, dangerous, unreliable, or simply less than others. Accordingly, they are often hesitant to accept the treatment and support they need. And friends and relatives who would be very supportive had their family member contracted cancer or been hurt in an automobile accident tend to remain silent for fear of saying the wrong thing about a touchy subject. So let our presence here today shout out against stigma and proclaim loudly and clearly that the 1,965 persons buried in these 3 cemeteries on the ridges were human beings, not spooks to be dismissed at Halloween or that scary great aunt that we don't want to talk about. And even though most tombstones only have a number and not a name for someone to remember, they were mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, wives, husbands, and loved ones who ended up in these cemeteries simply because, no fault of their own, they had a mental illness. Some of the people buried here today were victims of now very treatable diseases such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, which normally strike in early adulthood. Others lived normal lives until middle age when they first became afflicted with disorders such as Huntington's disease, epilepsy, Parkinson's, and other mood or disorders that made people act strange back in the day. Still others were victims of the slow mental unraveling that comes as a product of extreme trauma. There's no more clear and dramatic proof of the impact trauma can have on youth than the sea of American flags we see down the hill that mark the graves of over 60 veterans. Most of these men were Civil War veterans who, though not physically wounded in battle, would lead ruined lives as a result of having untreated, war-afflicted PTSD. What a huge but unrecognized sacrifice these poor men made for us. And on a personal note, I want to note that my 2 daughters, their great-great-great-grandfather, fought at the Battle of Vicksburg for the Union Army, and later in life was treated for what we would call PTSD today here at the hospital. Fortunately, the family took him home and he passed it home in a public cemetery. So we are gathered here today not only to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice and service to our country, but to address the ignorant and hurtful stigma against persons with mental illness, both living and dead. In a way, we are answering the simple plea that is engraved on the plaque, which great poster will soon unveil, and it reads, "Remember us, for we too have lived, loved, and laughed during our lives." So thank you for coming and sharing with us today.
list of the many descendants who have come to honor her and are at graveside below. You see that huge crop of Boyd descendants down there. Quite impressive. Two of them, however, are up here, Michael Pearson and Jacob, I got the wrong name, but Hamilton. They will be taking the wreath down, so could they please come over here? And it's the wreath with the pink flowers to be distinguished from the male wreath. Yes. Yeah. You could just go across that way and then no, not that way. Debbie Phillips will do a eulogy for Sarah Boyd. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It is such a privilege and an honor to be able to be part of this ceremony, because the work that NAMI is doing here locally and the 317 board and all the people who work to restore these cemeteries to help bring dignity and some measure of peace to families as they think about their ancestors. It's really important work, and it's just wonderful to be able to be here with you. So I'll talk to you a little bit about Sarah Boyd. Her descendants are on their way down the hill to place the wreath. What do we know about Sarah Boyd? Not a lot. Her first 37 years were quite normal. She was born Sarah Wyatt in Lawrence County, Ohio in 1842. She married Ewell Boyd, a laborer from Virginia, in 1865. The couple had 2 children, Anna Laura and Ulysses Grant. Censuses describe her as literate and a housewife. But severe mental illness struck Sarah in 1879. After a 6-week period of being delusional and violent toward others, she was admitted to what was then called the Athens Lunatic Asylum. Though her admission records describe her as vicious, we now know that in most cases, the violence exhibited by a person in psychotic delusion is not a reflection of that individual's personality. More likely, it's a reaction to the extremely frightening nature of the delusions themselves. Had modern medicine existed at the time, the demons troubling poor Sarah could probably have been slain, and she might well have returned to her family to live out a normal life. Sarah's descendants understand this. They love her, and some have gone to considerable lengths to remember and honor her. Upon hearing that Sarah had died in the old mental hospital and been buried in this cemetery, her great-great-grandsons, John and Dave Willis, later aided by Nancy Lyons, found key information which allowed them to do the paperwork required by the state at that time to release her stone number. At that time, grave records were still not available to the public in general. That process took 6 years. Now, after learning that her stone number was 209, they and Harry Bowman, the husband of their sister Susan, placed her stone. But, as if what they had gone through was not enough, no one had informed them that there were 2 burials marked number 209, one for Sarah and one for a man. The marker they placed in 2002 has now been moved from the man's grave to Sarah's grave. It is there that her 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times great-grandchildren and children-in-law, Dave Willis, Angela Willis, John Willis, Kathy Willis, Susan Willis Bowman, Harry Bowman, Michael Pearson, Heidi Willis Klipner, Kaylee Klipner, Amanda Klipner, Tammy Willis West, Jerry West, Jeremy West, Brianna West, Jacob Hamilton, Isabella West, Jay West, Heidi West, Tammy West, Jennifer Willis Smallwood, Jacob Smallwood, Isabella Smallwood, and Ben Smallwood are gathered. The wreath will be carried to the graveside by Michael Pearson and Jacob Hamilton. Their act of remembrance is not only a beautiful expression of love, but also a clear statement that people should not be judged by their disorder, but rather, using the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, by the content of their character. It's privileged to be here as the family honors and remembers Sarah Boyd.
She's also leaving us. She's terminally. Thank you. And now Tammy West will read a few words of remembrance sent by relatives Nancy and Frank Lyons in Colorado. Tammy.
Our dearest Sarah, how does one begin to describe the journey that has brought us here today? 5 generations ago, you found yourself here, and now it is time to memorialize your place in history. It is with great pride that we, members of your family, acknowledge your life and give meaning to our efforts today. Through our never-ending quest to understand and appreciate your part in our family's heritage, we have come to know about your children, their children, and the numerous descendants thereafter, not to mention those that came before you. It is through them, all your family, past and present, which we continue to grow, learn, and evolve as one. One multi-generational family, taking pride and honoring our heritage. And so it is with today's services that we give our love and respect for a life well lived, our gratitude for having been but one piece of our history, one that continues on for generations to come. Peace be with you, Sarah, Nancy, and Frank Lyons, the great-great-great-grandson.
Sherelle?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe this far, and grace will lead me home.
Sherelle's super, isn't she? Now we've come to the moment to honor a group of men about whom we know almost nothing. Greg Polzer, who has done the lion's share of the work in resetting hundreds of stones that had been pulled up or misplaced in the old cemeteries, will tell us more and will lay the wreath.
I joined the NAMI Athens Cemetery Committee on its mission to restore the 3 Bridges cemeteries in order to honor those buried here who struggled and died with a mental illness. today we have gathered to pay special tribute to a new group of men buried somewhere in these cemeteries. In a locked remote closet in one of the Ridge's buildings, we discovered 32 headstones of the approximate 50 men first interred here long ago. As of today, we have the headstones, but we're still searching for the exact burial place. Tom Walker and I have used both low and high-tech methods, but thus far to no avail. But we have not given up. We have placed these headstones together with a plaque to identify them until we locate their actual grave sites. But we do know something about these men and how they lived at the Athens Asylum. This mental hospital was founded on the medical philosophy of moral treatment. For its day, the Ridge's Hospital was and remained state-of-the-art until it closed. The hospital staff all strive to improve the mental health of their patients by being respectful and attentive to their needs. The hospital's residents were treated with kindness and gentleness regardless of the diagnosis. Probably one of the most positive elements of any mentally ill person's time at this state hospital was the bucolic setting of Southeast Ohio. The campus was landscaped expertly to create an atmosphere of peace and beauty. So much so that citizens of Athens came to the hospital grounds on weekends and picnicked with their families. The patients had a chance to live a productive life while residing at the asylum. They had the opportunity to perform the soul-satisfying work of caring for the flower beds and lawns, and especially helping farm the different crops and tend the dairy cattle, chickens, and pigs that made the facility nearly self-sufficient. The patients performed honest and gratifying work. This contributed to their personal well-being and to the overall success of the hospital. The residents were able to have an idyllic place in which to recover, surrounded by beauty, and to be nourished by fresh, locally grown food that they helped produce. The Athens State Hospital recognized that their patients were human beings first and tried to provide an environment that allowed them to maximize the chance to live a satisfying life. That's why the committee selected the following quote from another state psychiatric hospital to remind us all the residents of the Ridges hospitals were people like us who just happen to have a mental illness. This quote that Earl Cecil read earlier appears on the top of the plaque identifying today's honorees. It reads, "Remember us, for we too have lived, loved, and laughed." Thank you.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. I looked over yonder, and what did I see? Coming forth to carry me home. There's a band of angels coming out to me, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home.
Thank you, Greg, for these words and for the your tireless effort to reset the stones, and for this simple memorial to those unknown men. And thank you, Sherelle, for yet another beautiful song. Your voice seems to have held out in spite of everything. Now, ladies and gentlemen, imagine a rifle volley, and we have a real live Carolyn Cade who will do taps. Thank you, Carolyn, for those taps. And thank you, audience. You're great folks. Thank you for coming and honoring those who lie here. This brings the ceremony to a close.
With rice in it, so I went to a neighbor's and got some rice.
Oh, that does work sometimes.
And it did work.
Do you remember Homo?
I do.
How'd you do?
Oh yeah, because you have to bring rag and all that. Yeah, of course. That's how brain fried I am right now. It's a lack of sleep. It's called sleep deprivation.
You look great.
Oh, it's just the clothing, I'm sure. Because I actually gained some while I was gone. And it's black. I gained it. I ate well, yeah.